Did you know that your name could influence your life choices? This intriguing idea is not a new concept. It's called nominal determinism, a psychological theory suggesting that our names can somehow play a role in shaping our interests, and ultimately, our professions. Imagine being named Usain Bolt. It sounds like a superhero's name, doesn't it? Well, it seems that Bolt lived up to his name, becoming the fastest man in the world, and a legendary sprinter. And then there's Larry Page. He didn't create a literal page, but he did co-found one of the most visited pages on the internet, Google. These examples may seem like mere coincidences, but they're not isolated instances. Numerous studies have found a statistically significant correlation between a person's name and their professional destiny. There's a certain charm to this theory, isn't there? So, who knows, your name might just be dictating your future. Ever felt like everyone is judging your every move? You're not alone. This sensation is known as the spotlight effect. It's a psychological phenomenon that makes us believe others are paying more attention to our actions and appearance than they truly are. Imagine this. You're at a social gathering and you spill a bit of your drink on your shirt. Instantly you feel as if all eyes are on you, scrutinizing your every move. Or perhaps you're having a bad hair day, and you're convinced everyone is noticing. But in reality, people are often more focused on their own concerns and actions. It's human nature to be self-conscious, to worry about what others think of us. But the spotlight effect magnifies this worry, making us believe we're the center of attention when we're not. The truth is, most people are far too absorbed in their own lives to notice your minor mishaps. So, remember, people are often too caught up in their own lives to notice your minor mishaps. You're more likely to get help in an emergency if there's one person around than if there are many. This counterintuitive phenomenon is known as the bystander effect. It's a psychological concept suggesting that the more people present in an emergency situation, the less likely any of them are to offer help. To illustrate, consider the infamous case of Kitty Genovese, a woman who was tragically murdered in New York, while numerous witnesses reportedly failed to intervene. This case sparked widespread interest in the bystander effect, leading to extensive research and studies. The underlying reasoning behind this effect is the diffusion of responsibility. When many people are present, each individual may believe someone else will step up, thus, they feel less personal responsibility to act. So remember this the next time you find yourself in a crisis. It might be better to single out an individual in the crowd and ask for help directly. Ever met someone incompetent but incredibly confident in their abilities? There's a term for that. Welcome to the world of the Dunning-Krueger effect. This psychological phenomenon is named after social psychologists David Dunning and Justin Krueger, who first identified it. It describes a curious paradox where people with low ability at a task significantly overestimate their own competency. Picture this, a coworker who consistently underperforms, yet maintains they're the star player in the team. They're not being deliberately delusional, they genuinely believe they're doing an outstanding job. This is the Dunning-Krueger effect in action. It's not limited to the workplace, you can see it everywhere, from the amateur musician who thinks he's the next Beethoven, to the home cook who believes her dishes could rival a Michelin-starred chef's. Our understanding of our own abilities is not always accurate, and sometimes it's wildly off the mark. So the next time you meet a confident incompetent, remember the Dunning-Krueger effect. Do you have a favorite song because you've heard it a lot? That's not a coincidence. This is a classic instance of the Mir Exposure Effect in action. The Mir Exposure Effect is a psychological phenomenon where people develop a preference for things merely because they are familiar with them. It's like when you hear a new song on the radio and at first, you're not sure about it, but after hearing it a few more times, you start to hum along, and before you know it, you're cranking up the volume and singing at the top of your lungs. This effect isn't just limited to music, it applies to people, places, and even ideas. The more we're exposed to something, the more we tend to like it. It's a fascinating quirk of human psychology that helps us navigate and feel comfortable in our world. So remember, familiarity doesn't breed contempt, it breeds preference. A simple touch can make you appear friendlier and more persuasive. As intriguing as it may sound, it's backed by a wealth of scientific research. Let's dive into the fascinating world of tactile communication, or in simpler terms, the power of touch. Have you ever wondered why some waitresses seem to receive higher tips than others? It might not just be down to their sunny smiles or quick service. A series of studies suggest that a light touch on the shoulder or arm can significantly increase the chances of a customer leaving a larger tip. It's a subtle yet powerful gesture that creates a fleeting yet impactful bond between the server and the customer. This power of touch isn't confined to the realm of dining establishments, it extends to many other areas of human interaction. Take for instance the act of signing petitions. You've probably been approached by someone on the street, clipboard in hand, asking for your support for some cause or another. Research indicates that people are more likely to sign these petitions if they are lightly touched by the petitioner. The gentle touch, it seems, can subtly influence our decision-making process, making us more susceptible to persuasion. But why does touch wield such influence over us? It's largely due to the fact that touch is one of our earliest forms of communication. Before we learn to speak, we communicate through touch. A mother's embrace, a father's gentle pat. These early experiences create a deep-seated association between touch and trust, safety, and connection. So the next time you're in a situation where you'd like to appear more friendly or persuasive, consider the power of a simple, respectful touch. It could be a warm handshake, a light touch on the arm, or a friendly pat on the back. But remember, the power of touch, like all forms of communication, should be used with respect and consideration. Just remember, a little touch can go a long way, but always respect personal boundaries.